After spending some time on the second oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft, you might have already escaped spawn, built a shack, and became self-reliant. But what's next? I see a lot of people getting bored of Anarchy after as little as 1 month of playing, and I really think these servers are interesting and can provide you with a lot of fun for well over that. Besides, there have to be some ways of staying sane when you've been playing on here for almost a decade. This is why today I've compiled a list of 10 things to do when you get bored on Constantiam. Some are easy, some are not. I've played on the server for the majority of its lifespan, and there are some things that even I haven't done yet, but accomplishing these 10 things will give you a sense of achievement and fulfillment. Let's get started, shall we? Unalive new players. As harsh as it sounds, the removal of new players is perhaps the oldest tradition on Constantiam. Now, don't fear, you are not a bad person for doing this. It's actually healthy for the server. It eliminates less skilled players that don't have the grit necessary to survive, and reduces the lag as there will be a lower player count. So, when you're geared up and established, consider going back to spawn to keep the oldest server tradition alive. Go to the world border. Anarchy servers are some of the few in which you can reach the world border in survival within a reasonable amount of time, due to the already existing, albeit dangerous, nether highways. You can technically do it with very little gear, basic armor, and some food, if you turn on baritone and auto disconnect for safety. Just start the journey from 0-0 and it should take you around 1 week to get to the world border. It's not that much to be fair, considering that you can basically do whatever in the meantime, as baritone is fully automatic. Yes, it does sometimes disconnect you, but all clients have an auto reconnect module nowadays. Also, there will be plenty of structures and monuments built along the highways that are always fun to discover. Here are some examples of what you can find if you travel down the minus Z highway, which was the first one to go all the way to the blue wall. Oh, and there's even some builds down the end axis, if you're crazy enough to visit the end of the end. This, however, will take much longer, and is something only a handful of players have done, as it requires a lot of mending elytras and XP bottles. Pillage and explore Greater Spawn. Why only sit in the millions and play like single player? There's lots of things going on at spawn all the time, from PvP fights to social projects, or just interesting people all around you. I mean, do I have to say more? Then it's a multiplayer server. Maybe try to at least once experience that. While we are on the topic of spawn, this region is where a large majority of ruins and old bases can be found. You can discover almost anything here, from grief builds and shelters to active bases, and sometimes even dupe stashes. This region is great for you to explore, especially for those with more of a nomadic playstyle, just travelling around and searching ruins for loot and seeing the oddities of the server. If you're a new player and you're trying to gather resources, the Greater Spawn region is the place for you. Make a base. I know you may already have a shack that you call home, or some fishing outpost in the millions, but if you really want to get the full Anarchy experience and actually leave a noticeable mark, I would recommend you build a mega structure. Something you've always wanted to build, be that a castle, a space station, or even a meme base. Building on an Anarchy server, at least for me, gives me way more satisfaction out of everything I build, and honestly, I don't even know exactly why, but hey, it's worth at least trying. Maybe you'll like it too. Join a group. There are countless groups on Constantiam. Some of them might be very secretive and accept only select people, but some are very open and inviting. Now, there is literally no definitive way to gain acceptance of a specific group, other than by just playing the game. A lot of people ask, how do I find a group, and stuff like that. But to be honest, apart from the very few open groups, there is no way other than via friendships, and those you build by meeting people and communicating. Even if you are a lone wolf type of player, there are still benefits to joining a group at least once. It's always good to have allies, or to have business relationships with players that can help you acquire resources. Plus, there's a group for pretty much any interest. Want to improve the infrastructure of the server? Join the highway builders. Fancy digging to the edge of the world? Join the tunnel rats. Or if you'd like to be a part of a large group base, perhaps you could be invited to my group, the Salt Miners. A group that's been active since 2018. Visit ruins of key bases. There are a lot of ruins which have coordinates that are publicly known. You can also use the archive server run by Turbine to view how these bases looked in their prime and to see their location. Lots of amazing bases have existed in the server's history, some of which are still recognizable to this day. I would definitely take a look at a few, especially those that hold historical value, such as Horizon. This was once home to many players who are crucial for the server's existence. Oh, and feel free to stop by the ruins of the cuboid biome. I come here often, and it's always nice to see that the place gets visited from time to time. Join the Discords and the subreddit. Constantiam revolves around the community. After all, it's what makes the server so special. Here are some of the Discords and an official subreddit. Getting to know the community can lead to all sorts of positive effects, such as maybe finding friends, enemies, and can teach you a thing or two about how to thrive in the digital wasteland that this is. I especially find the subreddit useful for learning about the history of the server, and then there are some key Discord servers that are essential for trading, such as the Constantiam trading platform. Hunt for bases. Admittedly, base hunting can sometimes be boring, but also very enriching, and I don't mean looking near spawn. I mean following chunk trails hundreds of thousands of blocks out and away from the highway with the hopes to find something. I have done this a couple of times and I can definitely say I didn't come out empty-handed. If you want to know more about the topic, see Salc1's video about base hunting, and if you do find someplace nice built by a stranger, place a sign, just a little something to let them know that you were there. And on a server that's a vast empty wasteland, they won't feel so alone. If you're feeling fine, place down a sign. Grief a base. Constantiam is balance. For every builder there must be a griefer. Let me tell you from experience, as someone who has both built and griefed on the server, you aren't getting the full Anarchy experience if you haven't tried both. You're playing on an Anarchy server. If you think about it, there aren't many servers that openly allow griefing like this. They don't allow the freedom. I see griefing on the server as less of a personal attack and more of a celebration of Anarchy Minecraft. Now, some of you may not agree with me on this, but if you've played on the server as long as I have, and if you could see the things that I've seen, you'd probably feel the same way that I do. Griefing is a necessary evil in this place, and at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, it's fun. I'm not telling you to go out there and become the next Silver Crown King, but if you're wandering the highways and you see a small melon farm, don't be afraid to let your dark side take over. Light up some TNT and see how it makes you feel. That's my 10 for now, but today's list has only scratched the surface of what Constantiam has to offer. There are so many different aspects to the server that I wasn't even able to mention in this video, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet, so the rest of those things you're just gonna have to go out there and explore on your own. Thank you again for watching, cubfam, and if you plan to play here for yourself, just remember to stay alive out there. See ya in the next one.